The Citizen Report is a production of New Shannon Media. All content protected under copyright.
And welcome to the Citizen Report. I'm John Shannon, and thank you for joining me early this morning. As always, this newscast is real, in-depth American. Thank you so much for joining me. My co-host, David Heller, is off. I was listening to a video from Dr. Dave Janda on YouTube. If you aren't subscribed to him, I highly recommend that you go do so. His YouTube channel is Operation Freedom, and I think he does fantastic work. Has great insights, and it was because, and I mention that because it was because of him that inspired me to, read what I'm fixing to read to you. And what it is, now, those of you who've been paying attention to the news lately, you probably know who General Michael Flynn is. And if you don't know, let me give you a brief crash course about him. So basically, General Flynn, he's been just absolutely assaulted by the deep state. They cooked up all kinds of accusations, and all of it was complete. All the accusations against him were completely fake. It had to do with the Mueller team. Had to do with just the deep state trying to come after Trump, and they were trying to use Michael Flynn as one way of doing that. And as the saying goes, General Flynn, he knows where the bodies are buried, so to speak. So, and Michael Flynn, he penned an op-ed that's on westernjournal.com, and he's basically, and the title of it is, "If America Falls, Where Will You Go?" And I thought that I might, now this is widely available. You can go online yourself. I just printed it off. It's, as I said, westernjournal.com. It's an op-ed from September 25th of this year. And I thought I would actually just read this here on the Citizen Report because I think it makes some excellent points because I think a lot of people, they just don't get what's at stake here in America right now. You know, they think that, we're just, this is just politics. This is just another election. I'm not going to get involved with the election. And I'm here to tell you, it's not as, shall we say, quote unquote, the Patriot Intelligence Insider. This is not another 4-year election. We are literally at the precipice of deciding whether America falls or goes on to greatness. So I thought, as I said, I would read this here on the Citizen Report because I think it makes, as I said, it's just very profound. And as I go back to what I said at the beginning, it was Dr. Dave Janda read what I'm fixing to read to you here. He read it on his show, and it was because of me seeing that inspired me to print it off and read it for the Citizen Report. And he actually got I think a personal response from General Michael Flynn. Please go watch that to see that because as I said, Dr. Dave Janda, he has great insights. So with that said, I'm going to read to you, as I said, this op-ed from General Michael Flynn, "If America Falls, Where Will You Go?" And I hope that you listen to all of this. I know it's quite a few pages here, but please, I urge you to listen to all of it because I'm telling you, you need to listen. So let's get started, shall we? Here we go. Where will you go to find another country that provides the opportunities and individual guarantees of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness outlined in our founding documents and guaranteed by a government of, by, and for the people? Name a country that offers you and your family the same or more than our United States of America. The answer is nowhere. There isn't such a place. This is our land. These are our people. These are our cities, neighborhoods, and streets. And this is our country. President John F. Kennedy described America as the beacon of hope for others around the world. This is our place and our responsibility, and our founding, evolution, and growth as a nation, and precisely defined by our imperfections, experiences, and abilities to redeem and renew ourselves. What makes America that beacon of hope is that we are traditionally a nation of idea generators, problem solvers, decision makers, communicators, doers, builders, and warriors. We can think for ourselves, speak freely, act, and deliver results. But being hopeful is not a survival plan. Hope has never won a war, nor will it win peace on the home front. We cannot hope to shut our eyes against the painful truth that our very existence is once again in jeopardy. Failed Marxist ideologies have invaded the mainstream of our consciousness like a network of choking vines seeking to strangle the mighty American oak tree. These ideologies manifest themselves through, number one, social media censorship of the free exchange of ideas. Number two, mainstream messaging that drives towards thought control. Number three, political correctness designed to force behavioral compliance. Number four, unethical technology use supporting security state command over an overreaching few. And number five, the selective application, weaponization, and enforcement of the very ideals, laws, and institutions designed to protect us. We are but one generation from third world poverty, dissolution, and enslavement if we choose to stand idly by and allow those seeking to project their failed ideology onto the landscape that is America. The shining city on the hill is the last stronghold of freedom, and we are under siege. So I ask you again, if America falls, where will you go? Ensuring that situation does not happen requires that we all go on the offensive. The time of fear must now turn from anger into inspiration and action. Now is the time for all good people of America to act to protect what is ours by right and law. Our strengths as a nation have been our diversity of thought, judgment, unity of spirit, courage as a people, and devotion to what is right and just. Our founding fathers were imperfect and not politically correct. They spoke their minds, shared their ideas, worked with their fellow countrymen, and risked life, liberty, and property to ensure that the opportunities that freedom presents would be institutionally guaranteed during their lifetime. In short, they sacrificed much. Generations of Americans, unknown to our founding fathers, have benefited from their resolute courage, devotion, and profound sacrifice. But knowledge of history is not enough to secure and protect what is now rightfully ours by birth, law, and responsibility. Don't blindly vote for an unknown future. Kindness, generosity, courage under fire, and willingness to help our fellow Americans in time of need are hallmarks of the American dream. But the American dream isn't truly a dream for the future. It is manifested as opportunity now. And the American dream is rooted in the power of the American people, exercising the ultimate power of our vote. Thus, we are empowered to positively make a difference in our lives, our children's lives, and our neighbors' lives. We can minimize any post-election buyer's remorse by researching the candidates we choose to send as our representatives to local, state, and federal government. If the candidates before us are unknown, we should reach out to them and ask them their intentions, as well as what they believe are the priority issues, problems, and crises before us. But don't blindly vote for an unknown future. Make your vote count and don't allow others to manipulate your vote for their own purposes. Consider sending to those government positions rational and thoughtful representatives who are willing to fight for the betterment of our nation, our states, and our neighborhoods. As Martin Luther King Jr. suggested, character matters. And once elected, it is we the people who are responsible for holding those officials accountable to ensure their words equal their actions. Among others, these just actions are within your power. This is grassroots patriotism, and we should not be shaken from what we believe in. Standing up for American ideals and for the American dream are important components of American values. I value my faith, my family, my country, and the true friends who willingly stand with me during thick and thin times. America is the land of opportunity, and freedom of the human spirit is the way towards achieving that opportunity. To secure our republic, every American must then do their part. This is what shapes America. All of us working on the little things across the country. For example, working on school boards, at your state capitol, in your church communities, in local races, on reforming voting laws, observing voting sites, speaking out on ever-changing mask policies, or about uncertain vaccines, etc. Everyone doing something, no one doing everything. None of us needs to be a Washington, D.C. superstar. Many people doing their own small part will produce big results. Although we need leaders at the national level to fight for us, the work done at the grassroots level maintains a strong foundation that keeps us free. America has a few Joan of Arcs, but the little flowers living their hidden lives and being faithful in the small things are crucial for our country to thrive. People need to decide to get involved. Give up your personal plans and go to the local meeting at your town or city hall. Make efforts to stay informed and tell your friends what you think in order to encourage one another. We have to make sure we discuss politics with our children and instill good, positive American values in them, instead of leaving them to the school system to indoctrinate. These are all things that we can't let slide. Sometimes we feel like if we can't fix everything, why start now? Fight this feeling and instead chip away at the small things you can do, and together we will turn this ship around. Keep in mind the work I describe is neither fast-paced nor exciting. It is slow and tedious. Local council meetings are usually long and drawn out. Lobbying at your state capitol is time-consuming. Discussing politics with your friends, family, or neighbors is uncomfortable and sometimes alienating. Yes, it's hard. Life is hard. At the local level, we must encourage each other to take care of the little things. That is how we inspire and motivate. That is how we make a difference. As an American, I served in the armed forces that guard our country and our way of life. I was and am prepared to give my life in its defense. I have but one lantern that guides my actions, and that is the lantern of experience. I have seen evil, and evil's greatest fear is courageous, devoted accountability. The mask of evil will often have a smile and a handout. But let's not be fooled or lulled into sleep by the actions of appearance, only but be awoken by the actions of courage and devotion. Founding Father Samuel Adams said, "If you love wealth greater than liberty, then tranquility of servitude greater than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We seek not your counsel, nor your arms." crouch down and lick the hand that feeds you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. In essence, if you don't like America or what it stands for, leave. It is uncommon for man to be complacent while indulging in the illusions of hope. Tyrants want an uninformed public. In fact, it is in their best interests. Why do you think our media constantly deceives us through false and anonymous reporting? Hoping that someone will save us, that God will strike down evil before us, or that others will stand in our place and do the right thing is foolish thinking. Shutting our eyes against the painful truth that tyranny is knocking on America's doors won't save us from the hazards we certainly face. The future is unknown, but there is no need to move into it blindly. America now stands in need of its patriots to prevent its ruin. Never forget, those things that are most precious can only be saved by sacrifice. The very institutions designed by our founding fathers to guarantee accountability and our freedoms have become increasingly challenged by brazen, hostile, and evil forces seeking to hijack and tear down those institutions and the products of lifetimes of evolutionary American societal changes, attacking our culture, our history, the monuments that remind us of our storied past, societal support structures, and the very fabric of our nation. It is not the first time tyranny challenged freedom, nor will it be the last time. Nevertheless, it is our time and our responsibility to act. Along the way, useful idiots mob roll the streets of America's democratic strongholds and suppress lawful accountability. The left is going to remove our rights, and those who currently rampage our streets and support this violent cause will also be cast aside. They are only useful until they can no longer be controlled. For me, I can imagine the Marxists incentivizing violence and drugs in our streets to use as an excuse to go after gun ownership or ammunition, thereby tightly regulating and taking away our Second Amendment right that guarantees our right to self-defense. As we are seeing across our government today, they have spiked our institutions of accountability with left-leaning sympathizers who would selectively go after any opposition to their ham-fisted rule. Left-leaning big tech firms that thrive because of our Constitution and Bill of Rights invade our privacy, observe us at will, and control all information we are able to receive and broadcast, thereby ensuring that we never leave the security state. At what point will there be no turning back? Are we heading toward an America that is no longer, Are we heading toward an America that is no better than a third-rate nation or a failed society as many great empires of the past? Our rights, our property, our liberty, our happiness, and yes, our very lives are at stake in this upcoming election. You ask, is this possible? Our republic was made by man, so too can it be undone by man. God is also at risk in this new society that is rushing to take over America. Remember what they hate. When we kneel before God, they know we can stand before anyone. However, their plan depends on us following the path they have laid out in front of us. Our path is not known but by the grace of God. It is He who shines the light ahead of us, showing us the way to truth and justice. I am not a faith-wearing Christian. I do believe that the strength of our convictions and a strong belief in God is vital for a happier and healthier life. While we are all imperfect, we are also capable of learning and growing. The time for spiritual growth as a nation is upon us. Ripping faith out of the fabric that is America is what the Marxist left is attempting to do. We cannot allow this to happen. The current assault will absolutely be stopped if each of us does our part. Words mean little when action is required, and now it is time for thoughtful, selfless action to protect and maintain the integrity of our nation, a nation that has much to be grateful for. Our rich past is filled with strengths. Our rich past is filled with strength and imperfections that make us who we are today. It is a storied past filled with heroes and villains, adversity, challenge, and the will to overcome. Cherishing this past is the only way we may ensure our children will not repeat the suffering our forefathers endured. Americans in the past have prevailed during the duress of situations, wars, civil unrest, tyranny, and challenge from external factions. Now, the only way to triumph in the face of evil is to stand up for and hold to account what is rightfully ours by birth, law, and the light from God's grace. We will prevail. We must prevail. Every community leader, those who have yet to step up, now need to take that step and support our country, our communities, our first responders, our faith-based institutions, and our children. Let's do it. Let's retake our shining, hopeful city on the hill. Our future, our children's future, our neighbors, and our republic depend upon each of our actions and efforts to stand up for and realize our American dream today and every day. May God bless America. So that was all written by Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn. I have to say, I have read many letters, but I must say that was probably one of the most well-written letters. It's almost like it could have been written by a founding father. It's that kind of gravitas, if you will. And I thought that I think it's good that I'm sharing this letter here on the Citizen Report, because I think a lot of people fail, as I said earlier, I think a lot of people fail to realize what's at stake here. And this is not another 4-year election. We are literally deciding whether we vote for America or vote for the destruction of America. I think that's what it comes down to. And I'm literally not exaggerating that. So, as I said, I hope you benefited from this. If you want to go read it for yourself, please do. It's at westernjournal.com, as I said earlier, posted September 25th. It's from Michael Flynn, and it's an op-ed, and I think it's a great letter. I really do. I think it's a well spoken from a man who's endured so much in the defense of our country. So, just some final thoughts, I guess. As I said, and it goes back to what I said earlier. I think that, as I said, there's a lot of people that think that politics is just an annoyance, or that I can't bother with that. Well, okay, you either going to have to force yourself to be bothered, which is really, frankly, ridiculous that there are those who can't seem to be bothered when your own ancestors, your forefathers, the founding fathers of this republic, endured more than a little annoyance to create this country. And I think it's time that people quit being so sensitive when it comes to things like this. we need to all pitch in and do our part. I'm doing my part here on the Citizen Report. I don't have a large audience, but whatever, reach I can have, I want to be a positive influence. And I want to say this, and this is a point before coming to tape and read this letter. There was something that I felt I needed to say here, and that is, I truly believe that if it wasn't for God, our country would not exist. And and I truly believe that the very birth of this country was because of God's grace. And those that want to ridicule the notion that we are a Christian nation do not understand our history. And if you still think that you can just coast through all of this and not engage and become engaged and get focused on what's at stake here, I'm telling you, we are going to lose this country. However, I'm saying that to get your attention, but I also absolutely believe, Trump is going to get another 4 years. It is going to be in those 4 years, his second term, that's to say, that he will fix, not just him. I mean, he's one man, okay? But I believe with God's help, with the patriots doing God's work, I believe, our country has a real chance at being restored to what it should be and go on to greatness, to be greater than it's ever been. Because, look, we're not Israel, okay? But I truly believe we are grafted in with Israel. We are inseparable, in my humble opinion. We have become grafted. And I think that people need to realize how special this country is. And you have every right and reason to be patriotic. I mean, look at this logo. Look at the logo for the Citizen Report. It basically invokes the thought of the American flag. And that's what I wanted it to look when I designed it back when it was a college podcast. Being patriotic, there's nothing bad about that. The mainstream media would want you to believe that patriotism is somehow bad. It's not. In fact, it's not just our duty. We ought to be patriotic. So that's pretty much it. As I said, the letter is what I wanted to do this episode on. I wasn't really planning to do this episode before tonight, but I figured I just felt like it needed to be done, for this broadcast. So I'll be back this weekend. I'm going to a seminar this weekend down in Greenville, South Carolina. Nikki, if you're watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I can't wait to share the experiences from that here on the Citizen Report. I want to learn all I can about restoring this republic and countering any forms of tyranny. I can't wait. I'm excited. So anyways, on that note, thank you for watching The Citizen Report as always. Don't forget our website, thecitizenreport.weebly.com. Please click the text alerts button at the top of the homepage and subscribe to our text alerts. If you subscribe to that, I will send you a text message every time there's a new broadcast of The Citizen Report. And also, if in the event we ever get censored by Big Tech, I can also let you know what's happened and where we're going next or what's happening next. So on that note, thank you for watching the Citizen Report. God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you right back here again next time. Have a good night, everyone.